Hey Nick, this is George. I'm here to kind of go over my website idea, my proposal for what I want to revamp in terms of for their web presence. What I chose was a local fair called Sundown Salute. And again, I apologize for how long it's taking me to get this to you. I keep trying to use Logitech Capture, but my system keeps crashing. So I'm going to try Screencast-O-Matic and see if this will work a little bit better. Maybe it's just the technology is just throttling my computer and it can't keep up. There were a couple websites that I thought about actually redesigning, Coach's Bar and Grill, Ike's Bar and Grill, and Stacy's Restaurant, which is a breakfast diner in town. While those ideas were good, I just thought about something that has more of a local impact to the community. One of those things would be Sundown Salute. It is the biggest event in this town by far, one of the biggest free fairs in the state. Its duration is 5 days, right around the 4th of July, and it's really freedom-centric. It's focused around the military and about our independence in America. It's a very big event for around here. A lot of people get really invested. Not just because this is a patriotic area in Junction City, but also because a lot of the local community is ex-military vets or are current military. We're right off of Fort Riley, which is the largest infantry installation for the United States Army. So, as you can tell, it's kind of a big event, kind of a big deal around here. So this right here, just to give you an idea of the website itself. I'm just going to start from the top down. So this website, upon inspecting the element, I did realize that it is a Wix website. So this is something that they created entirely in Wix. I don't know who made the website necessarily. I do know that the board did accept the proposal for it, I'm guessing. Or maybe it was just somebody that decided they were going to make some sort of web presence and throw it together. But judging by this, you can tell it's not that important to them. They really don't feel that it's that important, which makes me think that they're really laggards when it comes to the idea of being innovative or innovating your festival. And I don't think that's a good thing. But yeah, if you see right here in the header, you can see that specifically it was generated with the website builder on Wix. And I've used Wix. It was the basis for my first portfolio website, personal website, that I've done during my collegiate education time period, I guess you should say. And they could have come up with way more than this, just based off of the templates that they have to use. It looks to me like what they did with the nav bar is they just threw a couple buttons here in the center of the page. And there's not even uniformity in their size or in the actual lettering either. What I would do is I would bring this to the top. You can look at, I'm going to bring up the Kansas State Fair. So they have their little header right here with their logo at the top. And then they have their actual nav bar right under it. And I noticed that this was a common theme with a lot of these websites. Let's look at the Minnesota State Fair. Header up here, and then nav bar. I was thinking of doing something similar with the logo. The one I had was red, white, and blue. That was one of the main things that I wanted to rebuild on the website as well, because if you look at the color scheme, it's more of a blue, yellow, white, with their random logo right here, which is supposed to be their primary logo. It's on a lot of their paper flyers and everything that they send around, and their actual advertisements and merchandise. I don't like the logo at all. I went for something more minimalistic and simplistic with just nice bold lettering, all caps format, and just a red, white, and blue sort of layout. I was thinking about making a sun in a similar fashion like this, but just redesigning it a little bit, taking out the orange and keeping it more in line with the red, white, and blue. This is a freedom festival, and I feel like the color scheme and the aesthetic needs to be representative of the festival itself, which is Sundown Salute. So that being said, I was thinking of pulling more of an influence off something like this. It's find your fun, right? So it has fun colors that pop out like yellow, pink, and blue. And what I need to do is I need to realize an identity for this website. Minnesota State Fair, I think, fits that a little bit more. I really like their website. You notice like the uniformity with the divs here, how it goes from like small, large, and then large, small, and it goes back and forth like that. I really like the layout and the structure that they did for their website, and I really like their expanded footer as well, and the logo right here. But they also did a good job, like Reddit style, like reading Alexis Ohanian's book. He talks about how he did Hitmonk and how he tries to have like a little mascot for everything to give everything its a little bit of flair. I was thinking of trying to make something like an eagle maybe, or thinking of some cute little mascot that guy can use as a secondary logo as well, time permitting. But I really like their website, and this is one that I really wanted to look at for being an influence in what I come up with idea-wise for this website for Sundown Salute. So again, taking the nav bar, bringing it to the top, like right around here, I would want to have the logo, or I'd want to have it centralized. I was thinking about maybe having it centralized and then having a little banner over here, much like this, that has a countdown until the fair. I don't remember what website it was that I looked at that had that, but it looked really cool. Just look it up. Might have been Arkansas. Yeah, they have the countdown as well, and they have their primary top bar right here. Really don't like the rest of the layout here, but this specifically I like, and I like the idea of having an event section that's nice and simple. This is something that I can definitely do. So I've just been looking at a lot of websites, parsing them, and seeing what I would like to do in terms of a layout. This right here, I've noticed, seems to be the standard on every single fair page, and is something I would want to implement, is a dynamically scrolling sponsor thing that just perpetually goes through, or you can just forward it yourself, change the direction, and having nice pictures, and then with the color scheme having like a div above it with like opacity settings and the color to kind of lay over the pictures as well. I'm trying to think of how to explain it. You can kind of see how everybody's kind of optimized everything in a similar fashion. You have it right here as well. This one doesn't scroll though. And also using the Google Maps API, but obviously it would be for developers. So it would have like the whole graying over and say it's developer, but still the idea of having it. I like the fact that they utilize their social media. I don't know if I can get something as fancy like this, but I've implemented Google's before, and I know that I can do that. Or sorry, not Google, Twitter's before, and I can utilize theirs at least to have a little Twitter feed. Really like their website a lot. I think Kansas is actually one of the nicest, but this whole little fun thing, I don't know if it's with the horizontal rules like being dots. I don't know if that's something that would especially fit the aesthetic, but what I'm looking for, okay, I'm rambling. Logo right here, maybe to the side, have the counter on both sides, social media buttons right here, and then have the sub, like have the nav bar be right above where the little header thing is. This would just be specifically on desktops. Once you get to mobile format, it would be a little bit different. Minnesota State Fair, their mobile specifically, I really liked in terms of taking influence. See how they brought theirs to the top, just nice and simple. Hamburger icon right there, and then search right here on the side. Nice and simple. The main heads right here to click on, so that way, boom, right there, and you can just get into the nice and meaty stuff within seconds. Secondary links that aren't as important right here. Very standard. How much time really people do spend on the main page. It is standard, again, industry standard, to not have too much, to not give too much like over information to scare somebody away from your page. Nice and simple, on sale now. Just telling you, hey, go ahead and do this. And I just really like the layout. When it comes down with the stars and everything, that would really fit like the freedom aspect as well. Really like how the colors change. I really like the job that they did developing this. And then right here, of course, the cute little mascot just holding onto the footer right at the bottom of the page. And they have their social media right here. It would be good to have it right there as well. on ours. But yeah, I want to be able to restructure the page itself, the content that they convey, like on the schedule right here. Nothing really there yet. Background obviously would completely change. I would just go for more of a basic white. Something with not a lot of bars and a lot of columns in different sizes too. Like left column, right column. Just so that way, like the responsivity, it's not as hard to manage for me, being a fledgling developer still. But in terms of like the events, I would have the events on the main page, like the calendar of events. Not so much like this one. I like the Minnesota State Fair one a little bit more. Let's go look at their events real quick. They have theirs like in a nice set table here, just nice and simple, easy to read, easy to parse. Really like their website. The Arkansas State Fair one, I really like their event listing. This would be something that I would like to utilize, probably with like blue right here, red right here, white, red, white. Maybe do it like a flag kind of format, right? And these will be like have little stars on the background somewhere maybe. Or just be stars in general, something to make it look like a flag with the upcoming events on the front page, but then have an expanded one as well in the links for the nav bar. They have spots for the concerts as well. That's a part of the event scheduling. I would like to have just like events on the nav bar, and then have maybe like a drop down on there where you can go into like their concerts, but then they're like, you know, like the dog trick events, and then like sometimes they'll do like motocross and skateboarding competitions and stuff like that. I think that would be something as well that would be really cool to implement, but it has no representation on this website. Sponsors, they have the full page for it. It looks ugly. Again, I would just do that as the ticker that seems to be uniform going across the bottom on all of these websites. I think it's even on Arkansas State Fair. Yep, even on the Arkansas State Fair website. Lastly, I'm running short on time here. One of the main implementations that I would like to do as well would be maybe possibly being able to create a ticketing system, so where people can buy their tickets online and get a generated code. Now, this would be looking like into the future, like if I have a little bit of spare time to be able to do something like that. I don't know if I'm going to have the capabilities. Another thing that I would like to do is that they have their vendor form right here that you can just look at, click, and then fill out, like look at it. It's basically like go print it out, fill it out, and then send it in. I would like to use like actual Bootstrap forms and then be able to maybe send it to the back end and have be able to put it into a database and then generate a dynamic number starting from 1 and going on, in terms of like vendor number if you get accepted, and they do the same for like the car show. So have it be like you're randomly like generated like the car number for like your entry number 1, 2, 3, etc. And it would be the same for the Freedom Run as well. I just think that there's a way to where I could make a base form, make it uniform, and then have them to be able to actually utilize like the web technologies to make it more optimal and to make it more efficient and to make it less burdensome on them, to where a lot of that legwork's being done and they don't have to do as much work in terms of the committee members themselves setting everything up. It could free up a lot of time. Picture section, of course, would still be the same. I would like maybe to do like sign up for a newsletter and email and everything, but I don't think like creating like a login or anything is really necessary. But yeah, that's basically it. I'm going to send the PDF. You'll get an idea of the aesthetic that I'm thinking about. Again, wanting to incorporate more of the Minnesota Fairground stylings, as it's something that I really like website-wise, with like big picture right here, buy the tickets, and then just have a lot of the topics that are in the nav bar right here to where you can click into them. All right. Appreciate it.